Well, that was a hectic Season 1. Remember the top scorer from Season 1? Well, yeah, he's already gone. So it's going to be a hectic Season 2. As here is our Barcelona team with all the players back from loans. Everybody has gone out. João Cancelo, Lewandowski. Torres is now the starting striker and Hector Fort is the starting right back. Not selected for Spanish national duty, which is a shame. We've got plenty of players back. We've got the youth players. We're going to set out the youth again. Try and get them to continue to grow and try and fix our areas of issues. As Casado, he's already better than Fort at right back. Maybe Trine's there permanently, but we've got a long day to start ahead of us. As thank you for being with us in this Season 2 of Barcelona. If you enjoyed episode 1 and you're going to enjoy this one, smash a like. Obviously not right now, but at the end of the video, if you have enjoyed it. And 140 million euros, really good financial backing for a team that used to have no money. We're expected to win the league title again. Spoiler alert, did it last season, did it almost on final day. Or did do on final day, win the cup and win the other cup. A lot is actually expected of us, as first of all, let's expect from ourselves La Masia, as for only this save and this save only. I'm going to keep on scouting the areas around Spain because obviously it makes sense. La Masia is very homegrown, so I'm going to keep on going with the homegrown pattern, which worked okay in Season number 1. But if you do want to make transfer suggestions or anything for Season 2, let me know in the comments below, as obviously we only had one episode with the kit, so I decided to just go with the same kit again. We get to play in these Barcelona colours. I'm wearing an old retro one. This Barcelona kit, as you see right here, the Stone Roses, I believe that band is. I don't know music. But I had to rep it for this episode, as these are the players listed to go out. Now, Fernandes has listed himself. Ferran Torres must have actually transfer listed himself, because I only did Chesney, and then a bunch for loan deals, obviously. We've got so many keepers at the club, and we're after a striker and a right back, also obviously. On the bench down here, we did lose Rashford, but then I did think to myself and forgot about this man, Ansu Fati, once rumoured to be the next big thing, and Rooney Baji, so we actually don't need to get such a versatile forward man. Obviously, Ferran hasn't left just yet, but I do want to replace Ferran in the first 11, with that bench looking pretty solid to me. We're going to get Chesney off it when we do sign more first teamers, as at right back, Eric Garcia can fill in for now, and like I said, Casado could maybe be the long-term option. Centre mids translate to right back very well, vice versa. For example, Matheus Nunez. This man excellent at Manchester City, actually affordable. But I'm going to trust our young Spaniard, and I'm going to get someone in for the time being with the shortlist here. And yes, you can see it is mainly strikers. We're going to walk through the strikers a little bit later on, but for right back, I was checking Ivan Fresneda before obviously thinking of Casado as a future option. This man not high enough rated at all, so Denzel Dumfries, he should link up with Frankie de Jong. We've got 140 million. Okay, I'm keeping that very much in mind. He should be able to purchase for his price tag, or we should be able to purchase for it. I'm not trading Eric Garcia, no. Mr. Barcelona, so 40 mil. Get him in a room with De Jong, and the Dutch lads can live together, live the high life here in Barcelona, and he can cover Marc Casado as he tries to train at right back. And hang about, wasn't this man the man who scored 2 from right back against Barcelona in last year's Champions League? I think he was. He's the same rating as Cancelo, but younger, 4 years younger, so I think that's the perfect signing for now, with us switching our mindset to getting rid of players. I want the biggest budget possible to go and find the striker with, less than $1 million for Fernandes, who did have time to grow, and then there's offers in for Ferran. Sunderland, which I can't lie, I could see happening. With the ambition of the Black Cats, yeah, I'm going to let him go out. That is 50 million euros into the budget of FC Barcelona after signing Denzel Dumfries. So we've got more than we actually started with. Can't ignore the fact there's going to be contracts, but only one player out of it. And that being Chesney, as I thought this was Chesney actually leaving the club. I think it's a youngster, Oscar, going to Stoke in a Bohan-esque move. Hopefully to grow, as we haven't hit the first game of the season just yet. And I want to judge the position we actually sign in from that first game. Despite not having a striker, I'm all for giving second chances, so Ansu Fati, we're going to change him to the forward man. We could have done Rafinha, we could have done Yamal, but let's not lie, we're definitely going to need a forward man anyway. As Barcelona loaning out to Ronaldo's project Almeria, as now it's been a little bit long enough before the first preseason game as well. Let's try and find a striker, as my two top were Lautaro and Julian Alvarez. However, both out the price range. 140 mil we do have, but I think with strict transfers on, might be harder to get a player. We have some backup options. You can see there's a few low rated, Amora, Boniface and Thiago. They're going to be scrapped from the list because I think we can do better. Same as Marcus Thuram, leaving Harry Kane, Openda, Dembele, Ekitike and Nick Woltemade, who's only 24, but isn't really pacey. Hugo Ekitike, he's had a really good start to his career there at Liverpool. Isaac just had an injury, and I think they do still have Alexander. Yes, they do. So will they both play in the same squad? Maybe with the rotation. Ousmane Dembele, of course, he's a Ballon d'Or winner and would fit perfectly like a glove in this Barcelona attack. So let's get rid of the top two. Leave these three. And of course, oopsie, 2 are 24. Ekitike would be all our money. And same as Ousmane Dembele, Nick Woltemade rumoured with potentially a move away from Newcastle. And signing this man would leave us money for the next window. 80 million, I think, is a decent offer. Allows them to make a bit of profit for what they signed him for. And he still stays out of Germany. He comes across to Barcelona on a massive wage deal. As Ansu Fati now onto the bench. Woltemade into the team. Yes, he doesn't have pace, but he just really reminds me of a young Lewandowski. As we'll have two players play around him, we'll still loan out the young lads, such as Andreas Quensa, he goes to BCS Young Boys. Wojciech Szczesny leaves on a permanent for 1 million to Nottingham Forest. They've been chasing a goalkeeper. Another keeper out, Kochen. Tommy Marquez to Caresse Calcio over in the Serie B. And Tony Fernandez before the first preseason game. Lecce. Decent move as we want to play our first team. Dumfries against his former one. A 3-1 win. Rafinha with 2 and Clutchman Pedri. As if you haven't seen episode 1, I highly recommend you do. With Deportivo to start the season at home, we should be off to a good start with our title to retain, as Jakoboshvili goes out to Ajax. Joffrey Torrens to Sporting Charleroi. We get a 1-0 win over Arsenal, who are a huge European club now. Potentially showing what we are doing is correct. Our business has been good enough. And our shape is good, as we're going to look through the academy for some of the best players. Gotta say, Masia isn't looking too good, especially with our intake. But Arthur Rivera, I can try and loan him out because he's a very versatile Andorian with not much decent Spanish talent. This is one of them from last season. Nacho Villar, 2 years at the Blades. Over in England, as it is a 3-0 win against Frankfurt. Ekitike's ex-club. I don't think he would have wanted to play against them. So it's a good job we signed Big Nick. But we've got to actually take in mind, or bear in mind, he is the only striker at the club. Only literally one. Until Ansu Fati changes, which he is a while off as it stands. As maybe there's someone else we could actually change. What about Danny Olmo? 370 weeks. No, he's not changing. We're going to have to deal with him. Or the new guy, Arthur Rivera, could get some game time. In this Barcelona 11, Pedri and Rafinha, the best players in preseason, as a 7.7 for Woltemade in preseason as a 6'6" striker, scoring 1 in 3. I mean, he does fit into the philosophy of just having him, ideally as a poacher, but maybe this is where we make a change. Maybe this man could be a target forward for the crosses into him. This is going to be a huge game though, Deportivo, with the team we've been playing through preseason. Really hoping we get to see our Champions League. Teams we face. I was almost going to say groups there, but this is at our home. And weren't these in the division below last season? I think they were. I think they're still not to be underestimated. Now we're playing with 2 new lads, and Pedri is a mainstay here. We want to go back-to-back titles. Frankie de Jong. We've got the play styles working as well. Lamine Yamal finding space. A lot of space should be found right here, and let's test out Big Nick. He's walking into the box, just behind his man, however, and Olmo, round the corner. Frankie de Jong's worked his way back in, because last season he wasn't in the plans as much as he probably wanted to be. Pedri through the middle! Almost, as we did go with Gavi, and we also went with the far post. What if we try Big Nick at the front post? There's Kerbasi trying to challenge for a header here, but it's domination here against this side. We're actually facing Deportivo. Good defensive line. But if you think we're leaving it alone, you are mistaken, as he was definitely going to shoot. Jules Koundé with the block into Balde. Now we counter-attack. We're not supposed to be a counter-attacking team, but it did work in our humiliation ritual last season in the Champions League against Paris. There's Frankie de Jong waiting for Denzel Dumfries. This one across the floor. Woltemade unselfish. It's the captain, Rafinha. This is what we need to keep on doing a lot in this La Liga table and also in the Champions League. Don't forget we want to win that trophy there. That the entire plan of this rebuild as Frankie de Jong stole the ball upfield. Woltemade needs that pass off to Pedri. Gets the ball off to Pedri. He's got the overlap of Balde. Balde's just asked for it a little bit awkwardly, but he cuts in on his right foot. And that's a brilliant ball towards Lamine Yamal. For me, you've got to be scoring. You've got to be hitting the back of the net and making it 2-0, because against Deportivo, 1-0 leaves the gap open for them to actually get something. But when Nick Woltemade charges at you from kickoff, what are you going to do? You're going to panic as Pedri was lining up to shoot there. Pedri's going to keep hold of this. We can make subs as the game goes on. Come on, Balde. You've got to run around, my friend. You've been a good crosser. That's nowhere near Woltemade. Or let me rephrase that. Woltemade nowhere near the actual ball. Mario down the line. Edachuri. What a name for a player. Gives it back into the centre. And Mela. He's just ran down by Balde. We can't pass clearly. And they're in behind us here, Deportivo. Oh, we've missed the tackle. That was nervy. We were almost at 1-1. Here goes Yeremai, one of the best players from La Liga 2 in recent years. Another big chance for them. We've just not been at it. But still, when you're winning and you're not on form, it's a brilliant sign of things to come. Woltemade, he's got a handball if this move actually doesn't expire. But Woltemade, he arrives at Barcelona. It is a La Liga debut goal for the German. Just powering through bodies, forcing handballs and forcing the ball despite being clattered by goalkeeper and defender into the top corner. As now we should feel more confident. Needed to get that block on Villares. No, we can't get around him. Mela's been a dodgy outlet. 1 minute of added time. I would have hoped for more. I want another goal from Big Nick. He is running in behind. He gets to the ball first. If you're going to sign a striker to replace Lewandowski, you need him to score goals for Barcelona. And that is what Woltemade does. Brilliant running behind. And look at the technique on that. Shame it wasn't a hat-trick to fire us straight to the top of the table. I don't see Madrid. Oh, they have drawn. That is lucky. I could try and check who against, but I don't care. And they're definitely not getting Pau. Eric Garcia's got a bid. Jules Koundé the same. Ter Stegen. Now, I think it depends on what we want to do in the summer, or should I say the January window. What happens with that offer? Because it would have been good for him to go back to Germany. However, I missed it, and it's Getafe up next. They must have won their first game of the season. And I am willing to go with the sim. We've got the same team because we're rested up. Please don't let us down. At least Woltemade keeps on scoring. But honestly, how? How is this team losing to Getafe? Come on. I laughed at Real Madrid, but now Sporting, Mallorca and Getafe on top, who do play Real Madrid next. And this team is actually above us in Sporting. We can't really afford to sim it because I am not risking going off form. We're not selling anyone else before this game is over. A lot of bids in for Eric Garcia, who might come into this team because despite them chasing us in the league, I do feel like we need to take these chances to rotate our lineups with Yamal, Frankie de Jong and Jules Koundé all dropping to the bench. You know what the next game up is, don't you? It's going to be the El Clasico. It'll be some test, but still we've got to beat what's actually in front of us. We took Getafe for granted. Champions League group should also be announced after this. Or not group, but just games, as Nacho Martin into Jalelber. Need to get across to make the tackle. We don't. Denzel Dumfries turning off. Maybe too much rotation. This isn't a good start. Here against Sporting, whatever the name is, Real Sporting, Loom. Can we have the ball? We're supposed to be the tiki-takas. Gaspar, he turns us with ease. Gilabert into the box. It's a chance to shoot. A huge save. What is this start? Low dipped off far to the back post. They're copying our tactics. Someone's come to our training ground, spying on us. Maybe they sent Marcelo Bielsa. Otero in the middle. Surely the game can't continue like this. We genuinely can't touch the ball. A very talented squad and they're around us. Very poor shot because that could have been the goal. Needs to be better. And Rooney Bargi into Gavi. Gavi out wide. Here goes Denzel Dumfries. He's going to whip one towards the back post. So close. But now we're starting to dominate a little bit. But still, it's almost half-time, 0-0. Dani Olmo into Rafinha. Pedri. There he goes. Balde. Nicolas Woltemade. Ah! How is Nicholas missing that glorious chance around the post? Damaging miss if we don't go and get an actual goal after absolutely squabbling, if that's a word, the chances here as Pedri from range. It's not working close up or far out. We've got to come up with new ideas. Or by new ideas, I mean putting Lamine Yamal onto the field because he can't sit on the bench no longer. I can't take it, wasting his talent. Gaspar over the top. He gives it into Otero. Otero, nice little tackle there. Need to be speeding forward, however. Pedri round to Rafinha. It's Woltemade through the middle. It stopped, but that pass had to work. They're starting to dominate now, and Eric Garcia caught out of position. We're going to have to rush out. Eric Garcia, heavy touch. But now if we can counter-attack on their missed chance, but that's even asking too much for Lamine Yamal. However, they have panicked. And Dani Olmo, give it to Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal to make the run if he can skill inside right here. He does so. Lamine Yamal, someone get across the box. It was so close again. Keeping the ball though, keep it. Rafinha, he needs to get to the edge of the box there. He has had a poor game all round. Shouldn't have switched the team up. 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss. A lot of rumoured players away, but I want to see this schedule now as we play the likes of Manchester City, Napoli, Liverpool, and I'm sure Inter in the Champions League, which is going to be rough. But in next episode, we start next episode with El Clasico. Brilliant. Real Madrid.